All right, let's see if, yeah, I'm not sure about the light, but let's see, maybe if I move here, it will change. Yeah, okay. Gonna get one more lamp. Please start on your back. And you can have your feet as wide as your mat with your knees bent. Yeah, maybe this is better, I'm not sure. And then let your whole back body relax into the ground. Good. And then as you're here resting before any movement, you can have the hands on the belly, on the chest, one on the belly, one on the chest. My kids are in the house, so there might be some happy or not so happy screaming, but my husband's with them. And then see if you can just start to notice the inner movement. So yoga is not a physical practice, even though we're using our physical body, it is really a subtle body practice. So within all of the shapes that we created with our body, the asana, it's really about this subtle body and how our energy moves, our prana moves. So already here in this very simple shape, even if the mind is like, but wait, we're going to move. Yes, we will, but not yet. Can you already feel what this shape does to the energetics inside of you? Is there a certain feeling state that you're observing? What is your prana trying to do? Is it trying to cleanse? Is it trying to nourish, rest, activate? So not what the mind wants to do, but what does the body really, what is the subtle body trying to do? It's a hard question. See if there is any answer that arises, and if not, that is absolutely fine too. And then how do we access the subtle body? Mostly through the breath. So we now start to breathe longer and deeper breaths. Doesn't have to be any special technique yet, unless it just feels natural to go into Ujjayi breath. And as you're on the earth, it probably is a little bit easier to access the side ribs. So see if you can already here start to breathe more and more into the side ribs. And then if you are familiar with Ujjayi breath and you're not doing it not yet automatically, then you can now start to narrow the base of the throat, creating a whispered ah sound on the inhale. And a whispered ha sound on the exhale. And you can do this with an open or a closed mouth. So it's like you're fogging a mirror if your mouth is open. And then you keep the mouth open and create a whispered ah on the inhale. Breathing really into the side ribs. Couple more breaths here. And then from that kind of inertia that we're in right now, that tamastic state, this is kind of what spring does, right? From the inertia of winter, we start to now add some movement. So keep the breath really nice and deep. Keep the feet as wide as the mat, but then let the knees gently flow from side to side. So your knees are just kind of falling over gently on the breath from one side to the other. And once again, observe how this affects the physical body. Maybe you feel some opening somewhere in the body and how it affects the subtle body. how it affects maybe even the doshas, if you're familiar with it. So do you feel any heat, or do you feel coolness? Do you feel fluidity of movement, or do you feel stuck? Continue to make your breath your main priority. So really breathe long, spacious, deep breaths. And now the next time the knees come over to the right side, you can keep them there, or you can bring your right heel on top of your left knee. So it's like a psoas opener. If this is too much for the lower back in any way, then you can release that foot. The arms can just relax by the side or open wider like a T. And then release the foot if it's on the knee. Let your knees gently sway over to the other side, to the left now, and either keep them there, or the left heel comes on top of the right knee. So slightly different from a twist. It's really more a psoas opener. And spend a little bit more time breathing into that right side of the ribs, opening the intercostal muscles. And then if the heel is onto the knee, release it slowly, and then bring your knees into the center. Hug one knee and then the other into your chest. Let the knees open a little bit wider than the chest, so they're more towards the outside of the ribs and pointing towards the shoulders. And then rock a little bit from side to side. And continue to keep the knees as they are, but bring the balls of the feet together. So it's the big toes and the balls of the feet together. And then see if you can reach for your ankles. So it's like a Baddha Konasana shape. Balls of the feet together, not the full foot maybe, and the knees wide. And then hold onto your ankles if you can reach. If not, you can reach anywhere else, the shins or the knees. And then the idea is that we now start to drop the legs into the hands. So it's like the weight of the legs is falling into the hands, and that probably will straighten your arms, and it might even release the shoulders a little bit deeper into the back. And with that, feel if it's nice to gently sway your head from side to side now that the shoulders are down into your back. And unclench the jaw. Anytime we're opening the hips is a good reminder to relax your jaw as well, as the jaw and the hips are connected, the second and the fifth chakra. And then slowly move the legs back to your chest. You can roll over to one side, come to hands and knees, or you can rock and roll up and down a few times until you come up into hands and knees. And then have your knees as wide as the hips or wider. I really don't know where to be with the sun. There's always a lighting issue here. It's either too much or too little. Your hands at least as wide as the shoulders or wider. And now start to create big circles. So little by little, we're starting to incorporate more parts of the body to invite them to just wake up, move a little bit. Big circles. Spread the fingers on the earth as if you're in downward facing dog. So they're spread, but in a relaxed way. There's no tension in the fingers. And then shift to the other side. Change directions. One more circle. And then come to the center. Bring your hands one hand's distance forward from the line of the shoulder, so from hands and knees. So there's a diagonal line now from the wrist all the way up to the shoulders. Hug the forearms towards one another for strength, and then roll your upper arms out. And then with that strength in the arms, curl the toes under, press the hands down, and lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And if at any point in the practice downward dog doesn't work, you can always take hands and knees or child's pose. Really staying with that very, very first suggestion of yoga, which is ahimsa, the very first of the 8 limbs and the very first part of the 8 limbs. So non-harming, always feeling what the body requires you to adjust, to do in any given day. And then from downward dog, begin to walk or step your feet all the way to the top of the mat. This will just, hopefully, the light. And once you're there in Uttanasana, standing forward fold, bring your hands on your shins or the earth. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold and release over the legs, maybe chin to chest a little bit. Press the feet down. Inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. Exhale, gather the hands in front of the heart. And let your shoulders glide down your back. Inhale, circle the arms back up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Hands on shins or earth. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back behind you and let your knees softly land on the earth. You can always bring a blanket underneath if it's a little bit sensitive. Bring your arms forward and then hook your thumbs as if you're creating wings with your hands. Like this. Good. And then keep that as you reach the arms up. Now, if the shoulders go really up to the ears, you bend your elbows a little bit more. Otherwise, stretch the arms up and over. Good. I'm not doing it exactly because my microphone otherwise goes into my neck. Take an inhale, hug the inner thighs to the midline. And now on an exhale, open the chest a little bit more. One more breath in. Exhale, release the hands down next to the front foot. Step to downward facing dog on a deep inhale. Remember, this can be hands and knees or child's pose as well. And then when you exhale, way forward into plank, knees down or up. Take an inhale to beam the chest forward as the belly muscles hug towards the spine. And then exhale, slowly, slowly come all the way down onto your belly. Hands underneath the shoulders for a little cobra. And then inhale, lift your chest forward and up. Exhale, way forward and down. 2 more times. Inhale, lift your chest forward and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, one last one. Really see if you can peel the chest away from the earth. And exhale, release. Curl the toes under, take a deep inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ground through both hands evenly, and then inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. We'll see if the hips can stay steady, the shoulders even. Exhale, bring your knee into your chest, and then step the foot all the way forward, bring the back knee to the ground. Hook the thumbs, if you remember, the other way, so the way that feels a little bit strange probably, and then lift your arms overhead. Hug inner thighs towards midline, lift your heart, inhale. Exhale, ground through the feet as much as you lift up. One more breath in. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. Lift your back knee, inhale. And exhale, step the left foot forward next to the right, fold forward. Hands on shins or earth, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release over the legs. Inhale, circle the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Little Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sweep the arms forward and then all the way up and overhead. And then when you exhale, sit a little bit deeper, sweep the arms back, catching the raindrops behind you. Inhale, bend the knees a little bit deeper, reach the arms, reach the heart up. Exhale one more time, catch the raindrops. And then this time, inhale, reach the arms high. And then exhale, fold over your legs. Hands on shins or earth, inhale halfway. Exhale, step the left foot back and softly land with the knee. Then with your right foot, sneak the right foot a little bit out towards the side, hands on the inside of the right foot. Begin to open the hip a little bit more. So you can start to circle, shift, pulsate. Whatever you do, make sure it's not restless movements, really on the breath as if you're moving through water. If you're feeling very cold today, as if you're moving through warm water. If you're feeling very warm today, as if you're moving through cool water. Feel where the body's asking you to go, to open the hips. And then let both hands come down onto the ground, spread the fingers wide, and straight away step into plank pose, top of a press up, hug belly muscles to spine. Knees down or up. Take an inhale again, beam the chest forward, heels back. Exhale, lower slowly down to your belly. Hands underneath shoulders or even a little bit further back so the elbows are really properly bent. And then inhale one time, lift your chest forward and up for cobra. Good, that's it. Exhale, wave all the way back down. Hands underneath shoulders, curl the toes under, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. As we take the asana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, feel, is it affecting your physical body, your subtle body? Both hands ground evenly. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step the foot forward between the hands. Let the back knee come down, and again, sneak that left foot a little bit wider out to the side. Hands on the inside of the left foot. And then start to move in your own way. Maybe it's different on this side. Feel where the body takes you. Opening through the hip, or maybe it's the hamstring that wants to open more. Side body. So within the context, within the riverbanks of Anjaneyasana, or it might even look a little bit more like lizard pose, you're going to just shift, release, breathe. And then come to center, bring the hands or fingertips on the earth, and then lift your back knee so that you can now step the right foot forward to the top of the mat. Feet hip distance or together, bend your knees for Utkatasana. Inhale, bring the arms high. And now when you exhale, bring your hands together, your elbows together, and let your elbows come onto your thighs. You might need to widen the stance a little bit here. So it's like a half malasana. Push your sit bones back and beam your chest forward. Now you can stay with this, or you can start to open the hips a little bit more, turning the toes out and bringing the elbows a little bit more on the inside of the thighs. So you probably feel more thigh action there as well. Take another inhale here. And then exhale, fold forward. If the toes are out, bring them straight forward and release over the legs. Let your head go for a moment. Make sure the breath is still the priority. And from downward facing dog, from Uttanasana, we step back to downward dog, or you can flow through a vinyasa of your choice first. So any variation of plank, lowering, hovering, cobra, upper dog. Stay with the breath. Then inhale, let your right leg rise up to the sky, grounding with both hands evenly. On an exhale, bring your knee into your chest and hover there. So you're in plank, shoulders over wrist, and your knees into your chest. And then do that again. Bring your right leg all the way up to the sky. But this time, bring the knee into the outside of your right arm. As if you're going to bring your knee to your elbow or upper arm. Maybe you actually do. Bring the right leg once more all the way up. And then exhale, step the foot forward between the hands. Big step. Back foot turns down, parallel with the small side of the mat. Open your arms for warrior two. So the front foot is pointing directly towards the top of the mat. The back toes are outside of the foot is parallel with the small side of the mat. Then in this warrior two, from your fingertips, draw in, not just energetically, but actually physically bring the hands towards the heart and lift a little bit out of the front knee. And then when you exhale, beam the hands out to the sides and bend your front knee deeper. And do that again. Inhale, gather, gather, gather. Exhale, expand, radiate out in all directions. One more time. Hands to the heart, pull in. Exhale, radiate out. Then stay here. Grow a little bit taller through the spine. When you exhale, bring your forearm to your thigh and your left arm goes up and over in a diagonal line from the back foot. The little finger side goes in, relax your shoulders. And find length and space as you anchor down through the feet. So stability of the legs provides spaciousness in the upper body. One more breath, side angle pose. Press the feet down. Lift yourself back up, inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down and bring them once again on the inside of the right foot. Your left knee comes down to the ground and then take a moment to release that right leg by flexing your toes towards your face. Lengthen over that right leg or the inside rather. One more deep breath in. Exhale, rebend the front knee and bring your left hand on the ground underneath your shoulder. Micro bend that elbow. Now you can either bring your right arm up to the sky for a twist, or if it feels accessible, you can bend the back knee and catch the outside of the foot with your right hand for, yes, Radha Krishnasana. Or all in one pose. Turn the right toes slightly out to the side as if they're pointing towards 2 o'clock on a clock or 1 o'clock. And then roll your chest open wherever you are, holding onto the foot or bringing the arm to the sky. Take an inhale here. And then maybe open the chest even more. Kick the foot more back if you're holding onto it. One last breath in. Exhale, release. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Your choice, downward dog, child's pose, or vinyasa of your choice. Go with the breath. And if you're in child's pose, make your way slowly back into downward dog. Ground through both hands. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest in plank, hover there. Inhale, bring your leg back up. Exhale, now bring it as high up as you can towards your left upper arm. Inhale, back to the sky. And then exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Back foot turns down, parallel with the small side of the mat. Open the arms, warrior two. And then those 3 pulsations, where we're really mimicking the movement of energy, so that contraction, expansion. So inhale, bring the hands towards the heart, lift a little bit out of the front knee. Exhale, radiate out through the arms, bend the front knee a little bit more. Inhale, gather. Exhale, expand. One more time. And then grow a little bit taller. Find length and space through the spine. Keep that as you bring your left forearm onto your thigh, pressing away from it instead of leaning into it. And then that right arm comes in a diagonal line. All the way from the back heel to the fingertips, find length and space. Good. And with that stability of the legs, maybe roll the chest slightly more open to the sky. If it feels tweaking the lower back, then you don't do that. One last breath, side angle pose. Then press the feet down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down to the ground. Bring your right knee onto the earth. And then release the hands onto the inside of the left foot so that you can release the hamstring by pointing the toes toward your face. You can dig the heel down into the ground and energetically draw it towards you while it stays where it is. And bend the front knee again. Bring your right hand onto the ground. Micro bend that elbow. And then option 1, bring the left arm up to the sky for a twist in the upper back. Option 2, bend the back knee and catch the outside of the foot with your hand. Roll your chest open to the sky. And there's, in each of these variations, there's a little bit of a hugging in. Again, that pulsation, a hugging in, pulling in, gathering of the inner thighs. And then there's the radiating out in all directions on the exhale. And feel that one more breath. Amazing. Slowly release your hand, release your foot if you had it. And then your choice, one more time, down dog, child's pose, or vinyasa. Wherever you are, can you really make it a movement meditation if you're moving? If you're resting, notice the flow of the breath. Either from downward dog or from child's pose, walk your hands to your feet so you're at the back of your mat. Let your feet come nice and wide, and once again you can open the toes towards the side, kind of Charlie Chaplin feet. You can choose, if the knees are a little sensitive, it's probably better to stay a little higher in Malasana, so then you bring your elbows into your thighs, or a little bit on the inside of your thighs, so you can squeeze the knees into the arms into the knees. If your knees are okay with going lower, you can come into low Malasana with your sit bones melting towards the earth. Now in each of these poses, really lengthen the spine. So if you're having the elbows onto the thighs, you beam the chest forward, sit bones back. If your knees are completely bent, you drop the pelvis towards the earth as you lift the heart more. Good. Now you can stay with each of these variations, or you can, if you feel, probably shouldn't do that, Katie, but if you feel inspired, Joanne, to go into a little crow pose or crow preparation, then you can go there. So either stay in Malasana, or now bring the hands down in front of you, your heels kiss. Knees are nice and wide, and then bring the knees as high as you can, up towards the upper arms, shoulders. I'm not going to go into it with my big belly, but I'll set up this shape. So your knees go really nice and high, and then you shift forward, and then shift back. And see when you lift your hands that you actually need to use your legs. So that's the action that you then use to go forward. And then maybe one foot lifts, maybe both. Just see where your body takes you. Take one more breath wherever you find yourself. And then release the hands on the ground if they're not. Lift your hips nice and high to the sky and fold over the legs. Let the backs of the legs release. Like a waterfall draining from the hips down the backs of the legs. And then the front body is really draping over the legs. Bend the knees enough to release any tension from the lower back. Walk your hands now forward until the knees can come to the ground. Let your sit bones come to your heels, or if that's uncomfortable, you can stand on your knees. Either way, interlace the fingers behind the back and to release from the forward folding or from kind of squeezing in. I'm going to lift the heart up to the sky. So press the knuckles of the hands away from you, lift your chest, lengthen the neck. And then release that. Bring the hands in front of you. Now you have two options. We're going to take a very easy version of hero's pose. So either you keep the heels together, knees a little bit wider, and you sit back. And then we're going to lift the hips like this. So not even leaning back. Or if it feels comfortable, you can sit in between the heels with the knees exactly in the line of the hips. And then we lift back. So we're just going to stretch the front of the thighs. That's all we're going to do. It's nothing major or nothing, just taking any shape that works. Hands behind you, and then drag the tailbone forward. Bring the pubic bone up towards your chest and lift your hips just as much as you need to create opening in the front of the thighs. Breathe into that. One last breath. And then sit back down. Bring yourself forward. Come out of the shape by bringing the elbows in front of you, and then one leg at a time, stretch the heel back and pulsate a little bit over the ball of the foot so you release the back of the leg. And release that leg and then switch legs. And release that leg. Bring your feet to one side so you can sit down on your bottom. If you have a prop to sit on, my kids always take my props, so I don't have anything. Maybe a block. So a block, a pillow, a blanket. And then sit on that. Let me just check the time. Find nice tall spine. Okay, good. And then a tiny bit of breathing, tiny bit of pranayama before Shavasana. So gently close your eyes, let the palms of the hands rest down. And then feel which nostril is most open, left or right. If it's hard to feel, you can bring your hand underneath your finger, underneath your nostrils, and feel where the air touches most. So which one is just maybe even slightly more open or a lot more? And then the one that's most open, that one you're going to close with your thumb. So let's say the right nostril is most open, you close the right nostril with the right thumb. If the left nostril is most open, you close the left nostril with the left thumb. Then let the spine stay long. Very simply, breathe in and out through the nostril that's now open. Bring all your attention to the breath. If you're breathing in and out through the right nostril, you're activating the solar energy. So you could imagine sunbeams flowing through the nostril. If you're breathing through the left nostril, you're activating the lunar energy. So you can imagine lunar nectar streaming through the nostril. Release the hand that's on the nostril. Take a moment to observe, to feel if there's any shift. And then slowly take your body down to the earth to rest either on your back for classical Shavasana or on one of your sides for sideline Shavasana, making sure that you support all the body parts that feel like they're not comfortably resting on the ground, or they're a little bit off balance, or there's some space between the floor and that body part. Allow the weight of the body to drop into the ground. You can visualize how any leftover tension is being pulled away from the body by gravity. It's released as compost into the earth. If you have more time to stay in Shavasana, you can stay here. Just tune me out. If you do need to end your practice here, you can start to take deeper breaths. Make little movements with the hands, feet, or maybe head to gently wake the body up. And then allow yourself to roll to one side if you're on your back and slowly make your way up to seated. And bring the hands to touch at the heart. Bow the head to the heart, to the wisdom of the heart. And feel what kind of wisdom is there today. Let's close with an Om, this big, big cosmic yes. You can either join, you can hum, or you can listen. Deep inhale. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace. May there be peace. May there be peace in all realms. Thank you. Good. Have a wonderful day, yogis, in the future and right now. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
See you
Anita. That was
soon.
really nice. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.